talk someone's ear off, this professional waitress.
The two of us.
Welcome, everyone,
right.
to Ladder Daily Digest. We're trying something new today. We're going to do a live Tuesdays with Tim, we're going to call it. And we're going to see what happens. And we're going to just like chatting around the table, and we're going to see what happens. All right. Debbie, you want to start off with a topic?
Yeah, for sure. So Tim this week passed along a email that was sent to a whole stake in New Zealand. So this is a mass distribution of multiple wards or groups of people. And in my opinion, this is as controversial as the CES letters going out from like you're basically your stake president. So I want Tim to maybe tell us more than my version of that story. And what is in the letter or email that's so like hot button for the church, and if it is or isn't real, what the potential fallout is from just someone speaking a little too much truth. Go for it, Tim.
Well, we have Diamond Dave in the chat. Hi, Diamond Dave.
We're doing a show for Diamond Dave.
Well, this is a 6-page letter, and it was sent by somebody who had all the email addresses for the stake. And it's called Pilot Program Informed Consent. And the hot button issues are, the second page talks about not getting your own planet.
Dang it.
So nobody gets their own planet anymore. And then we're not becoming gods. And he goes to Church News Fact 12, Church News Fact 11. And then he tells the truth about the book of Abraham, that it wasn't translated. He goes into the Anubis thing. I mean, should we read this? People can find it.
Yeah, people can find it. Where did you see it first, Tim?
I saw it first on Reddit yesterday. And
Rob, have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's in the ex-Mormon subreddit, and the title is Email Received by an Entire Stake in Sydney, Australia.
Yes.
I always thought it'd be cool to tell an entire stake something like the CES letter all at once, just to see.
I know, right?
That would be fun.
Just as
this is everyone in this room's chat fantasy.
Just like, hey, dear stake president, let's just see what informed consent might look like to 1,000 people at one time, just to see what happens to attendance soon.
And then it talks about Joseph married 30 to 40 women. He references the gospel topic essays. And he says 12 to 14 of them were already married to righteous men, footnote 29. And the youngest was 14, gospel topic essay. And then he was intimate with his wives and possibly had 2 to 3 children with them, footnote 25. And then he says that Joseph, after reading about polygamy in the Old Testament, just started it. And it's still a doctrine, because according to Brigham Young, Joseph S. Smith, and John Taylor, if you don't live polygamy, you're not going to the celestial kingdom. And then he talks about DNC 132 and how Joseph broke all the rules. And then he says the Book of Mormon was translated using a rock and a hat. And he plagiarized the translation of the Bible from Adam Clark's commentary. And there are multiple versions of the first vision. And multiple prophets and apostles have stated in the Journal of Discourses that it was only an angel that visited Joseph that day, not God and Jesus. And then statements from the 3 witnesses where they admit they only saw the place in their imagination. Oliver Cowdery denied his testimony of the Book of Mormon. And it's the second-hand account, but it was published in the church newspaper at the time. It was Nephi and not Moroni who visited Joseph Smith. According to the Times and Seasons, Millennial Star, and biographical sketches. Interesting. Joseph was not literate in 1830, the 1829 letter, the 1831 letter, Ensign article. He used to give amusing recitals to his family about the ancient inhabitants of the land before he received the golden plates. Now, what did he learn at Dartmouth College, and what did his brother learn when they were there?
Theater. One of them learned theater, I swear.
Theater.
Very much.
And how Joseph Smith changed the wordings of the earlier revelations when he compiled the 1835 D&C, inserting the multiple verses about the priesthood restoration. Now, everybody should get a hold of Woodford's 3-volume dissertation on all the changes in the Doctrine and Covenants. It's a thesis at BYU. I think it was Woodford that did it. Anyway. That Joseph accidentally translated Matthew 26 twice.
And they're different.
They're both different, yes. And in April 1990, President Nelson discussed the use of the term Mormon, wanting to have a full name of the church used. But Hinckley said we're Mormons. Mormon meant more good. We should be proud to use that name. Joseph Smith also gave us a little translation of the word Mormon. Said it means more good. Okay. And the exaltation and priesthood ban that was imposed upon some of our members for 126 years was sadly because of the personal racist beliefs of past prophets. The ban was not because dark-colored skin is an indication of divine disfavor or because of any actions in the pre-existence. Although Brigham Young stated that black people will not get the priesthood until the millennium. After every white man has had the opportunity, he was just speaking as a man. In 1907, President Joseph Smith taught that the church expects to see the day when they will no longer require any tithing from us. The church will have sufficient to run, yes.
Debbie, what did you think when you first heard about this?
I thought this cannot be real. But then I was like, you know what, even if it's not real, but it still got emailed to like over 1,000 people, because that's about the number in a stake, would you say? Roughly estimating?
Yeah, about
1,000 people in a stake? That's going to spread. And I know Mormons love to play telephone. I mean, trust me, if Becky down the street used to call my mom and tell her something, every mom knew it in 5 minutes what was going on, because they'd all get on the phone, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, because we're women. So even if whoever got that had to read it, because like I said, if it came with stake president letterhead, you'd of course, as a true believing member, be like, oh, what did Bishop or Brother so-and-so say? That's so important. See, this is mind-blowing.
So yeah, one thing is that lots of Mormons like to, follow an example. So maybe other people in other stakes might be doing some similar things. I wonder how that's going to change access to emails from now on.
Right.
I would not be surprised if this did not get sent to many, many, many saints in Australia or elsewhere, New Zealand. Who knows how far?
Well, it's here in the United States. It's on Reddit. You saw it.
Well, yes,
I then saw it. We play telephone. Oh my goodness.
So, and after that, it talks about how the Book of Mormon has many anachronisms in it. And he quotes a bunch of verses from the Book of Mormon in the Bible.
So when I first looked at it in a cursory manner, I thought, well, the church always likes to test things. Like 5 years ago, if you said, hey, I bet you they test garments, that are shorter someday. And people would say, no, nobody's going to test that, right? But the church is always testing. They tested the 2-hour block, I think, in a few different places first, right?
Yep. They tested
Yes.
18-year-old missionaries before they implemented that.
So it made
Oh,
sense
geez.
to me that somewhere they were going to test a more faithful thing, right? A more faithful presentation. And they have done the essays and they have done, the Saints series. And it just seemed like, oh, that's interesting. Now I didn't get into the detail. And then later on, there was the refutation and then the refutation of the refutation, which was classic. Like, don't look behind the door.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one thing that was kind of shocking is like, we're going to test out telling the truth. We're just going to see if maybe putting our toe in the water and actually being honest for once is a good policy. Like, that should have been Captain Obvious from the beginning. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Like,
when I saw this, I thought it was real. I didn't know it was a joke.
So Catherine said they tested Just Serve in my stake for a year or two before they rolled it out for the whole church. What is Just Serve?
Just Serve was an initiative where the church, as a result of all their surveys, figured out that the people who are joining the church are the people who are spiritual but not religious and likely to be involved in community service. So the idea was it wasn't about serving others. It was actually about like, let's rub elbows with people in the community who are likely to join the church, and let's get all the members out there doing service so we can get more converts.
Oh.
hmm.
So that's now a program in the church?
It was for a while. I don't know. Speaking of this document, I thought it was real at first as well.
Yeah.
And then I began reading it, and the language was clearly not the type of phraseology that the church would use. So I knew it was not real. But, there was a time when I was a stake executive secretary, and I had the power to send out a mass email to every member of the stake. And there are moments during my deconstruction, my angry phases, where I could see myself doing something like this. Like, you know what? I'm going to go down in flames. I'm an Air Force guy. I'm going to go down in flames.
And there are some less people with less training or acumen when they're executive secretaries, let's say, and they might send something out that includes everybody CC'd. So you get like 1,000 CCs.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody ever copied that, or if somebody saved it or whatever, when there was a mistake, instead of the BCC that they're supposed to do, the blind copy,
right?
Somebody could have been waiting a little while, biding their time until they do something like that.
Now, Tim, you've been
little
around.
Red button.
Tim, you've been around to see various times when information has been leaked to members like this. What do you think the effect will be on members of the church as a whole?
If anybody reads it all the way through, they're going to start asking questions. And then their cognitive dissonance is going to kick in.
Yeah.
And
right. That's what a lot of people say when they hear a faithful apologist say something and about an issue, and somebody will say, well, wait a minute, they're not saying that's anti-Mormon lies. They're trying to figure out how to deal with it. So that must be true. I never thought that thing was true that they were talking about before.
well, like this guy that was just on Mormonish is an apologist.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting that he was such an apologist for the Book of Enoch.
Yes.
That's a hard one to wrap your head around.
I could see right through him from about the beginning, the first 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going, wait a minute. And then he says parallels, and I'm going, parallels are no good.
Mhm.
Right. So this
They
in
don't
a way
count.
is also like a live Ask Me Anything for Tim Rathbone. So if anybody in the chat wants to either ask a question in the chat to Tim or Rob or Debbie, or maybe me, even though I don't know anything,
You know a lot.
you could do that. And also I have a link if you want to get on the show and say hi and chip in. So we can move on to another topic and come back to it if something else happens. But yeah,
Do we
it's
want to
out.
continue with this letter?
Is
got
there another thing, Debbie? Or
Oh yeah, there's more.
There's 2 pages
Yeah,
left.
go ahead.
Rob
There's
has a thought first.
Okay, share your thoughts.
If they catch the member of the Sydney, Australia stake who sent this out, you know he's going to be disciplined, likely excommunicated. And what I find troubling about that is if the church decides to inoculate, which they have to some degree, that's all fine and good. That's moving the Lord's work forward. But if an individual member takes it upon themselves to say, hey, here's some historical facts that we should probably deal with. Oh, no.
I
Okay, Tim, read the next few things.
It says that the brethren are slowly moving towards the idea of the Book of Mormon being an inspired work created by Joseph Smith, rather than the little history of the ancient inhabitants of the American continent. This allows for him to have included so many ideas, stories from his immediate surroundings in the work. And he quotes something President Nelson said at a mission present seminar in 16, something Ulysses Soares said in April 2020, and something that Susan's husband said in October 2021, which is interesting. See, and I said this back in the 80s, that the church eventually will have to do what the RLDS, the Community of Christ. They're going to have to eventually give up on the idea of Book of Mormon archaeology. You're just going to have to make it all mythology. And then he talks about the DNA evidence, that there's no Kohen DNA. Well, he doesn't mention that, but there's no Kohen DNA in any Native American prior to the arrival of Columbus. So the Lamanites aren't the Pismolite. And oh crap, I lost it. Uh-oh. You got the last page there, anybody?
I've got it.
Okay.
So it talks about DNC 89. It also talks about the lack of connection between the Solomon's Temple and Masonic rituals. And it ends, and then it talks about the second anointing, which is always fun. I love this paragraph here at the very end. It says, as we eliminate some of these more troubling aspects of our faith and move a little closer to a more mainstream Christian ideal and beliefs, we hope you will come with us on this exciting journey. And I think the church is actually moving towards mainstream Christianity.
That's
and
saying
my
the quiet
deconstruction
part
was
out
a
loud.
heck of a... What's that?
That's saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have a joke about the thing that Tim was talking about, where the Mormon Church is going to have to explain the Book of Mormon as a myth, right? They're going to have to say it's a myth. And I said to somebody that then they're also going to let LGBTQ marry in the temple, and they're going to ordain women, and they're going to teach truthful history, and they're going to rename the Brighamite Church the Reorganized Community of Christ. And it'll be a full circle.
Oh man, I don't think they can take the division. They would break right in two. People would either go one way of the pendulum, where everyone's running out and joining some AUB FLDS group sect, meaning the church is fallen, we all got to become Josephite followers, where they bring back polygamy. I have my Emma hair tonight, just in honor of this conversation.
Oh,
apparently,
lovely.
yeah. I'm working on a
Hi.
Halloween costume. I wanted to see if I could pull it off.
Hi, Carrie.
Yeah,
Carrie's
Carrie.
watching.
Oh,
I
Karen,
just texted Carrie.
Hi, Maven. Hi, Carrie.
I just
Hi.
They're
texted Carrie if
bringing
he wants
back-
to show up.
yeah, they're bringing
Text
back
Karen the link.
polygamy. I'm predicting.
Oh,
Because
that's
it
what
has to
I
come back
said.
before the millennium. It has to come back before the millennium. Remember that part too? Hi, I was a woman.
That's why they are fighting same-sex marriage. Because eventually somebody who's a polygamist is going to take it to the Supreme Court. And they're going to have to make it legal.
Slippery
That's what I
slope.
predicted. Slippery
You
slope.
guys are so
Yeah.
lucky. You all
So
get
you know
so
what?
many wives. Congratulations.
In 2008, when the church
One is enough.
when the church was spending money to promote Proposition 8, which was like a marriage initiative that excluded gays. And I thought, if the church really wanted this for everybody to vote in favor of it, they should come out opposed, right?
Well,
because if they opposed it, then everybody would vote in favor just to do the opposite of what the church did.
In November of 2000, when they voted on DOMA, the night before, the Sunday before the election, I printed up I think it was 22, I can't remember exactly, signs. And I drove around to every single chapel in the Victor Valley, Apple Valley, Victorville, and Hesperia, and put no on every single door to the chapel. And I didn't know that Sunday they had a stake conference in Victorville, and they wanted to find out who did it.
Tim, you're always getting yourself in that almost in trouble. You get out of so much shenanigans, I swear. Go ahead, Rob.
And when I went to church that morning, I looked and I could still see the glue from the sign on the door. It was hilarious.
Okay, so I sent Carrie the invite.
Oh, Carrie can come in. Oh, good, Mark. Mark's got light on masonry. Good for you, Mark. Good for you. Yeah, that's a book everybody should own. Yeah, I think eventually, well, there was a ward in Florida where they didn't have enough priesthood holders, and they did allow the women to not bless it, but pass the sacrament. This is back in
See, I thought they were going to bring that back. I thought that was going to be a conference breakthrough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Carrie.
Hello, Carrie. Hello, Carrie.
Hello.
So, Carrie, did you see
doing
that?
A BYP.
What were you thinking when you saw the Australian?
I got to go downstairs real quick. You guys are being...
Okay.
All right, go downstairs. We'll let you. Yeah. So
Carrie's house has 4 bedrooms. It's 2,800 square feet, and it's on sale for $799,000. Anybody wants it?
And it's got a great location. It's
Great location.
Right
Sorry to barge in like that. I just got I just did another BYP video, so I didn't hear you contact me. So thank you for inviting me. I probably don't belong with this August group, but I'll try to behave.
It's basically we're honoring Tim Rathbone.
I am very honored that you allowed me to be on so that I could honor my dear and good friend Tim Rathbone. I am thrilled.
Thank you.
Now, Tim, if you just shut up and go to bed, we'll gossip about you.
All right, I'll do that.
Take a nap.
I'll do that.
All right. So, what were you guys lying about? And I'll.
We were talking about the letter, the Australian letter.
Did you see that, Carrie? Then on the Reddit.
This guy. Yeah. Okay.
What did you think about it?
No, I'm lying. Sorry, I've been off in UFO.
Lying.
He's been doing more interesting.
He got abducted.
So
You
yeah,
got
I
abducted by
I
aliens.
had for my channel, I had a video go absolutely blitzoid on
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
humanism. It's got like 68,000 views in just
Oh,
days. I'm just so it's a great subject. But this isn't about me, it's about Tim. So anyway, come and look at my UFO videos. There's some fun stuff. So
wild stuff.
Mhm.
Wild.
Sunday was Global Disclosure Day, where Danny Sheehan put together this group worldwide of people that we're all joining together, and we're telling the United States government we want full disclosure of everything right now.
Hmm.
And it's really interesting to see what's going to come of this. So we'll see.
the only reason why I never believed in contact with the aliens is nobody ever said that the aliens told them that the Mormon church was true.
Well, they found that out through the Holy Ghost, so it's all good. They're here to baptize us. Oh, hey, Mark Crispin, you're very kind. Okay, I apologize for interrupting. But, so what's this? What Australian?
Yeah.
What do you?
Can I explain? So, Carrie, somebody in
Yeah.
Sydney, Australia, who had access to the stake directory sent a fake email saying, our stake has been selected to be part of a pilot program of inoculation. And then it had all these disturbing historical facts about church truth claims, kind of like CES letter summary type things. Well, that ended up being followed up by a letter from the real stake president saying, that wasn't real, folks.
Yes, it's sort of like all the inoculations at once.
I have thought of something like that. Really? So was that an anti-Mormon or a critic or something that did that? That could backfire. Tim,
thinking-
who was it?
I'm thinking a disgruntled former stake officer
Could have been.
that still
how-
that kept all the email list of everybody in his hard drive,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
and maybe even letterhead or styles.
Well, it is letterhead. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, what do we do with people like this? You know,
we make statues out of them.
That's why we can't have nice things. This is why we cannot have 10% of your income anymore, darn it.
Wasn't Guy Fawkes Day a little bit ago?
Hmm.
oh my.
Yes.
Wow.
Mhm.
I mean-
what else weird is going to happen in this?
Look at the letterhead.
Hold it a little closer, Tim. I can't
Let me
quite see
do
it.
that. Oh, it went away, Tim.
Oh,
Ah,
you
you
gotta
gotta go
slide-
back. Go back the other way,
Slide to
Tim.
the corner.
There we go.
Which
You've
way?
changed pages.
Yeah, your finger hit the.
Tim, you're as electronically talented as I am. My fat fingers mess things up all the time too.
Okay, there's the letterhead.
Of course, they're not as bad as my fat head, but Sydney, Australia, stake. Oh my gosh, that is phenomenal! And that went to everybody in the stake.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Yes. Everybody in the state.
Wow, that's called a.
So Carrie,
We need to have a worldwide fast to calm those people down.
yeah, Carrie. Then the stake sent out a letter saying, disregard, don't read, burn any copies of that letter.
Copies of that letter.
Then the original perpetrator sent out another boost to everybody that said that whoever sent that from the stake was in error. This really is from the church.
Oh my. Oh. How fascinating is that?
That's almost as good as aliens. Almost. Almost as unbelievable, right? As unbelievable as aliens, but believable.
Yeah. So did they what kind of topics were they sharing in that, Tim?
Okay.
Doctrine and book.
No,
of-
he that is one thing he did not touch on.
well,
He talked about
we've got to tell him to get this book, damn it.
he talked about we're not getting our own planet. We're not becoming a god. The Book of Abraham isn't correct translation.
That's false stuff.
That Joseph had 30 to 40 wives, and that he had 12 to 14 of them were already married. The youngest was 14. He may have had 2 or 3 children with them. That Joseph instigated polygamy, not God. That polygamy is still a doctrine.
Well, technically, that's correct. They just don't. They just don't practice it. But
just about everything could be found on the church website somewhere.
Yeah, he ties it to the gospel topic essays.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yeah.
That Joseph broke the rules in 132. That the Book of Mormon was translated with a rock and a hat, and that Joseph was in trouble with the law. That he plagiarized the translation of the Bible from Adam Clark. That there are multiple versions of the first vision.
That's true.
Yes, all this. There isn't anything here that is not factual.
That's right.
Well, so what was the state president so up in arms about? I mean, man.
Someone needs to send the stake president, you can't handle the truth meme. You can't handle it. Sir.
You can't
multiple that he just goes on and on. I mean, every hot button issue except for Adam God.
Oh, I'm being called. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Don't go away without me. I'm going to pull a BYP. Sorry.
That's right. I can remove him and add him to the stage back when he comes back.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting thing. Frances Tobler said, she wished the email sender would join the live and admit to it. We're not that big yet, right? Where we can... The time is right, though. In Sydney, it's probably like 8 a.m. or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
We can find that out easy.
I was once in a sacrament meeting, and a young lady was giving her testimony and talking about a friend of hers who was struggling with her parents and struggling to follow all the standards, and had a boyfriend, and they were trying to be good, but they struggled to fulfill the law of chastity and all these things. And then she just started crying. Says, "Okay, it's me." It'd be great if the email sender would do the same here live.
Rob, is that mockery we are detecting, dear brother?
Never.
It's 1:40 p.m. and it's tomorrow in Australia already.
That was loud laughter, and it's no longer a thing.
Evil speaking of the Lord's anointing, taking the name God.
They don't excommunicate you anymore for horse laughs, right?
No.
That's right.
Okay. Well, this is a laughing matter.
Yeah, I wonder if this becomes the Australia letter, just like the CES letter someday.
It could.
That's exactly. We just identified it.
So how did you get a hold of it, Tim?
On Reddit. It's on Reddit, ex-Mormon Reddit. That's where.
Does anybody know how many
obviously I'm not hanging out
votes it has
people except
so far?
you guys.
How many what?
Upvotes on ex-Mormon Reddit?
Probably
Rob's going to look for that really
25.
soon.
How many?
26 now. I voted for it. So 26 upvotes.
Well, that's pretty good for ex-Mormon Reddit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that how many comments?
Oh, at least 4 comments. I'm sure Murdoch Travel is busy making arrangements for the Down Under rescue, which will happen in the next few months.
I wonder if it's been reposted a few times.
I reposted it.
Didn't warn the saints that was coming. That's what I want to know.
I would have thought it would have 1,000 upvotes.
Okay, you know what? I take scratch that. I read the wrong one. You might be right. I'll get the correct answer.
Rob, how dare thou deceiveth us?
Unlike the church, I can admit when I'm wrong. So there's actually 2 versions of this. One has 876 upvotes. The other has 2,000.
Yeah, there you go. Now that sounds more realistic.
There we go.
Yeah, that's not the whitewashed version. The other one was the Mormon side with the 6 upvotes.
Yeah.
But that's 2,000 people that have seen it.
Yeah.
and that
Just on
maybe
Reddit.
downloaded it and are asking their
Yeah.
friend if they can borrow their computer, their access to the church local area. What's it called? Directory.
Area authority.
The stake directory, and so they can
They probably will send a GA down there.
copy and paste.
They do.
I'm
Oh, they're
surprised
gonna have to.
John DeLynn hasn't
that's-
asked, because John DeLynn probably has at least one viewer in every ward or stake, right?
For sure.
There's 3,000 stakes. John has 260 something thousand subscribers, but only half of those are actually Mormons or ex-Mormons.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And you'd think there would be, that's enough to be a small Sunday school class probably in each ward, right? Who's taught a Sunday school class where there's well, maybe not Sunday school, but 15-year-olds, there's only like 15-year-olds there or something. But anyhow.
Well, look how fast the CES letter spread. That was just a private inquiry that started out as kind of a
right.
Reddit
no,
post.
Ward Radio has refuted that now, people. You've got
Oh, really? Oh, thank God.
I'm here to help.
Well, Debbie, is there anything else in the news this week that you put on your list?
That was my most juicy, just because if Carrie hasn't heard about it, and I haven't seen it pop up on a lot of anyone's feeds, which usually once something does go a little viral, people are doing their spin on it or talking about it, kind of like, as an example, the Mormon housewives. Everyone had to have their opinion cents on that show and series. So if we're going to talk about soft swinging and it become a little viral trend within the Mormon communities, imagine what this kind of letter will do in both those communities, the Ward Radio, the True Believers, or like people like us who like to just spill a little tea or go, ha, 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 did you hear? Because we're already doing it. I said, Tim sent it to me. I read it, and then I asked Gene, did he see it? Now we're telling Carrie, Rob seen it. Like, that's how quickly things can spread, especially because I said Mormons, we like to check on our brethren and sister, we like to talk, ask you how you're doing, ask if you saw the email from Brother Tanner this week. Oh my gosh,
That's right.
We love that.
And Maven points out that when Colby and Cammie Reddish were doing their thing in their stake, when they were trying to get the word out that, hey, there's a child molester in our midst, right? And we need to do better interviews with children, and we need to do all kinds of things to protect the children.
Colby did that. Good on him.
He sent the email to everybody, and so
wow. Then he became the bishop or the state president. This is Colby Reddish.
I think he got excommunicated.
So that's
yeah.
I think they resigned. I think
they resigned.
Blithering idiots! You can't tell the truth in church. Haven't we learned that yet?
No.
He sent his letter out as a believing member, wanting to do the Christ-like thing, protect the children, right?
I mean,
and it was the pushback from leadership, and the leadership, basically horrible response to this helped Colby as a lawyer think, we'll say, rational about the church for the very first time.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you, Maven, for letting us know that. That's really
right.
interesting. Yeah, I don't, the way the leadership acts, look, I'm stymied. Seriously. I mean, this is astonishing.
It's for each person. It's a different thing. Something causes a member to start thinking for themselves. It could be SA. It could be just a really harsh, misogynistic leader. It could be all kinds of different things. It could be typing up, doing research for their class, right? And they all of a sudden see the CES letter or something else,
Rob, I'm sorry to show my gross ignorance here, but I do it all the time on my own podcast. But do you have a podcast? Do you?
No, sir. I have a TikTok channel, and so I try to embarrass myself in that format.
That's right. Only younger people know who Rob is. Not
There's
like
wisdom in
me.
that.
But
Much
anyhow,
wisdom.
so Rob's thing, TikTok is called President Please Help Me. He started off by saying, "Hey, I've come across some information. President, could you help me understand this?" And what was your first big one, Rob?
It was Book of Abraham, obviously.
So you said, "President, please help me. How come there's this Book of Abraham that all the scholars say doesn't say what it says, what we've been taught?"
Yeah, and in my video, I literally just walked the viewer through the process of stumbling upon these disturbing facts, and then, okay, I'll stick with faithful sources. So here I am reading the gospel topic essay. Oh, and now I'm going to the footnotes. Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh, this is getting worse. I'm sure there's a solution here somewhere. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And
Oh, dude, that's a great way to do it.
yeah,
You're a genius. I want you on my show and share that process.
let's do it.
That's awesome.
And
Go ahead.
2 years later, my videos evolved into humorous Saturday Night Live skits where I, dress up in character and sing and dance and do silly things. One of them, one was called "Why I Will Never Be Called as a General Authority," because Elder President Oaks announced that I would be the next speaker in General Conference, and I stood up and spoke of the beauties and the glory of the doctrine of concubines, and it didn't go over so well. But I have a question for you, gentlemen. If you could send out an email, or if you had your moment at the podium during the conference, what would be a priority? Like, I want people to know this. What topic would be important to you, or you think that the membership deserves to know?
Tim, you go first.
That the membership deserves to know.
I mean, we just go ahead.
Other than it's a fraud.
That's a little blunt. You're talking in general conference. Use the general conference voice. Spread it out a little bit, Tim.
Brothers and sisters.
Spread it out.
I'm here to tell you that Joseph Smith never saw God. I can't do it.
Dude, you've got a GA.
You're doing it perfect.
I'm impressed.
And that none of this is real. We've been fooling you for years, but you keep giving us money. So we're just going to keep doing it.
Oh, no, you got to do something profound like, we apologize.
We apologize for fooling you all these years.
But it's been a lot of fun. You're so
We enjoyed your money. My wife got implants and plastic surgery. Her vagina's a lot better now that she got that thing they did.
Tim, you're getting close to celestial blasphemy. You're thinking celestial. You don't want to be
Prophet white.
I wonder if when GAs first start getting stipends, if they're told that, this is a good deal, this is, $180,000 the rest of your life, this is free tuition to BYU, we're not going to buy yachts with it, we're not going to buy private jets, we're not going to, be opulent, but
I heard they had $1 million.
The Lord loves you.
Yeah, they get $1 million line of credit, and all their jets are forgiven, and they have at least one, if not 2 or 3 homes.
Right, but no Rolls Royces, no gold-plated briefcases. You know what I mean? They're not going to be opulent about it. No big diamond rings, no Super Bowl type rings.
Because it's easier to hide the houses.
XXIX.
But it's easier to hide the houses. If you have houses everywhere, they don't know.
And maybe, jobs for your nephews, right? In construction businesses and
Law firms.
ZCMI, law firms,
Oh, mm-hmm.
the network of, companies and jobs and industries they're in. I just wonder when somebody is going to do that type of information, just like Brother Nielsen did for the.
Well, remember they all sign NDAs, so they lose everything if they come out with the truth.
They do
Some Puff
sign
Daddy stuff right there.
Yeah, they do sign NDAs. When you're
That's
called
why
to
we should do a GoFundMe. $5 million to the rewards to the first
First man with integrity.
General authority that comes out with the truth. We got your back. What were you going to say, Rob?
This week, someone just posted that Thomas Monson, who only worked outside of the church for 12 years before becoming essentially a full-time general authority, when he died, they claim that his estate was worth $14 million. And how could that be? And they discussed how prior to President Hinckley making a new rule, they were able to make a lot of money sitting on the board of directors for ZCMI, Intermountain Healthcare, Beneficial Life, and all these church-owned or affiliated for-profit businesses. And that's horrible. Good for Hinckley, but still.
Yeah.
But still they're making
Nepo
money
babies
somehow.
of the church.
Somehow they're still making money, though. Even though they're not on these boards anymore, they're still making money.
Well, they're selling books. Paper is not cheap. And then they probably own the printing press, too. Oh, they do. Sorry, they do. They'll sell your book. They own the company that sells the book. They own the paperback company, the copyright. Man, they are making, they just an MLM to the MLM.
And they
got their finger in every pot.
And they own the cows that crap on the books.
Seriously.
Yes.
Who's working in the paper mills? Probably a bunch of this little tiny children from
Diamond Dave says he doesn't know enough about this stuff. So shall we?
That's right. Otherwise, he would call
it. They own millions of cows, and that's no bull.
There you go.
They own huge farmland in Florida.
Diamond Dave, ask us questions, Diamond. What do you want to know, Diamond Dave?
Yeah.
What don't you know about? I mean, they all get paid. They all sign NDAs. They're given $1 million. All their debts are forgiven, and
even if they're students,
they get free housing.
Free housing. They get free flight everywhere, all over the world.
And even though they stay at like stake presidents' homes, sometimes I bet they eat really well.
They get chauffeurs. They get chauffeured cars.
I remember Lila Tuller saying that the kids all got free tickets at the theaters and different things for different restaurants.
They probably get a stipend every day of per diem.
Sure.
They can spend. Mm-hmm.
They get millions of people standing up for them when they show up in the room.
Do we know that the apostles fly first class or whatever?
Oh, well, they go right to the back.
They fly. Of course, they fly first class.
Come on, Gene.
Well, that guy
you can
that
hand
was
out
on,
way more books of Mormon if you fly coach.
One for you. You get one. Oh, nope, you don't get one. You've got a earring. Here's one. Here's one. Oh, no, ma'am, you can't be wearing pants. I can just see that. That'd make a fun cartoon.
Rob's getting ideas already.
Well, no, this just reminds me of a TikTok video I made because I feel very passionately about the money issue. I mean, people get passionate about sex, politics, and money, right? And when I learned that there is an organization called the Bountiful Children's Foundation, started up by members to feed impoverished, malnourished Latter-day Saint children in Guatemala. I thought, you got to be kidding me. The church is sitting on billions, and yet they have malnourished children sitting in their pews. This is ridiculous. And I, you know,
And it would take so little to help. And they would
Yeah.
get it all back in their investments in just 1/4 of a year.
Yeah.
That's what's so pathetic, in my opinion.
So
We
Tim, Maven asked this question or says something that she hates how the members of the church seem to think that if the top leaders were enriching themselves off of church funds, they'd be balling around like famous rappers, right? Now, Tim was around when Brigham Young II was an apostle, right? Don't you know? It wasn't like Brigham Young II or one of Brigham Young's children who was an apostle lived it up in New York City, spent a lot of money. And then that's why they made the order. They changed the order of who gets to be an apostle. Even though they had like 17 apostles at the time, they only there was only certain ones that got to be in line. I can't remember what that was.
Well, that's when Orson Hyde would have been the next prophet, and he got pushed back.
Right, but Lorenzo Snow changed something to make sure that Brigham Young Jr. or whatever he was, the second or the
wouldn't become prophet.
Wouldn't even become one of the sitting apostles.
I never heard that in Sunday school.
Yeah,
of course not. They're not going to tell you anything they want you to know.
Of course, it would have helped if I showed up. Oh,
yeah. Speaking of benefiting financially, I'm a contractor for my job, and I'm required to do annual ethics training about, when you're working with the government, you can't accept bribes. You can go have a meal with someone, but you can't accept gifts from that person.
Like a motorhome?
I'd love to see what is the code of ethics for general authorities, because I don't think there is one. I live out here in Hawaii near a resort called Koloa Landing. It was built by Layton Construction out of Utah. And when it got into financial trouble, the owners of RC Willey, I forget their name, but they kind of bailed them out financially. As a result, I believe that general authorities are given free passes to come stay at this posh Hawaiian resort. Because when I was attending church, I'm telling you, we had a general authority in church every week. We had times where I would be sitting on the stand ready to give my talk, and the bishop would lean over and say, "Hey, I just found out President Uchtdorf and President Eyring are going to be here today. So could you cut your talk a little shorter?" And I didn't want to talk at all at that point. But don't you think that we as members have the right to know what are their ethics when it comes to accepting free BYU football tickets and stuff like that? Really?
You have no rights, young man.
Almost no apostles ever come to Oakland, California, for some reason.
No apostle ever came.
It's way better than Hawaii.
You have the right to shut up and color.
You have a right to genuflect to me. Do it now.
Well, once you get addicted to that swag, even celebrities say that's the hardest thing to give up. When you lose your status, you lose the attention and the swag. So they wouldn't want to lose the attention or the swag. Because if I had a company that gave me perks in Hawaii twice a month or once a year or whatever, I'd be like, "Hey guys, look at me."
Yeah, the company car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-oh, we've been caught. Hellfire Agency caught us.
Uh-oh.
We apologize. We meant to blacken the screen, but Gene forgot how to turn the switch off, so we're all showing up. Everyone in the chat are, so we apologize for any inconvenience with which our heathendom might cause.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Hellfire Agency's been on our show before. He's Exmo Joe. Rob Tobler did an episode.
I love Exmo Joe. Brother, we're going to do a high five.
Rob Tobler did a show, Carrie, a week ago. So you could check out more about him. And we're also going to do another show with Rob. We're going to do some highlights from his TikTok. If I can figure out how to do it and when,
Still gotta
when
get his book.
we can do it.
I'll have to find you on
Oh,
TikTok.
that was rude. Hell is empty. The devils are all here.
Oh,
Okay, well, we're gonna call Debbie
Sons
Lucy.
of perdition. I prefer son and daughter of perdition.
Yes, Debbie and I
Perdition.
are sons and daughters of perdition.
Well,
Since Debbie is the female, we're gonna call her Lucy Fur.
I
Get
just
my
realized how
horns up.
sexist that is, that we don't have daughters of perdition. That's just not right.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, no kidding. What's up with that?
Equal rights.
Because men have the penis hood.
Oh yeah. We can't be that bad. That
No,
bad.
you can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Because we have the authority. You know.
We do. We do.
Yeah, see, you're in more trouble than the trouble. See,
That's
I have
right.
no authority, so it's really not at, like perdition level. I just get to be really bad daughter. You get to be
Look at-
perdition level.
Exmo Joe joined the in group today.
I see that.
Oh, hey, Mormon atheist is asking a good question we can talk about.
Yeah.
What's our take on the religious exemption laws? What does he mean by that?
What do you mean
Do we
by
think
that?
religion should get a tax exempt? I
No.
say
No.
no. if
I
that's the
think we
question.
should be exempt from religion.
We should. That's right. We should all be exempt from religion.
Maven says Jezebel is the best we can do. Oh,
Okay,
Well,
Maven.
also, if you look at the reason why they used to give churches tax exempt status is because there weren't social services that took care of people like food stamps or social security or disability or any of those veteran benefits. There was nothing. So it was the churches in the community that if there was a widow, who took care of that widow? Usually her own community, probably a religious community. Who took care of the orphans? The religious community. It wasn't the government. There weren't programs in place.
yeah.
And so, yes, that kind of exemption made sense because they were contributing to society, whereas now they're just profiteering. So I don't think any of them, and it's Mormon church, yes, but also like Scientology, every major religion, if you have land, just like a homeowner or a farmer, you should pay taxes for that land for use. That's what we say it is. That's what we say it goes to. It goes to roads and water and infrastructure. So it benefits the community. So to say that they're so above everything that they get tax exempt status is an insult to everyone who pays taxes, regardless of how you like to vote or who you like to sleep with, because that is what helps, in my opinion, create stable families, stable communities, is infrastructure where people actually help each other. And the church isn't helping anyone, they're just helping themselves. And I live here in Utah, where we have the same problems as every big city. And do you think where the church Mecca is, that they're doing anything to help homeless people, education, roads, pollution, any of our natural resources? Nothing. They want to have their finger in every pie, including the cement that makes our roads and temple projects that make them great. And it's a little bit over the top at this point, where I'm saying, you lost your focus, now pay up, because you're a corporation. You're no longer what you were supposed to be doing or what you were doing in the past. And that's my soapbox. I'll get off of
So
this.
you saying that you think there's a chance?
That's right. Think if Jesus had $150 billion in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago.
Now, he could have. He could have. It's just lost treasure. We haven't found it yet.
But I like that phrase,
would
lost your
Jesus do?
focus. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And Tim probably would say that some of the reason why they're so, let's say, frugal with their money is because they've almost gone bankrupt a few times in the last 100 years.
Are we talking that LDS church?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the last time was in the 60s with the baseball baptisms.
Yeah.
But they built their wealth up since then considerably.
Yeah. They have. All right.
I wonder what they did to switch that narrative. That was very strategic. I think they
They hired
And-
N. Eldon Tanner.
And Eldon Tanner saved
Yep.
the church lots and lots of money.
The guru from Canada.
And then Mitt Romney told them to fire all the janitors.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that's the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mitt Romney was the one who showed them
seriously.
how they could save money. So they
Our
fired
bishop
all
was
the
a janitor.
janitors.
That was like his main job.
I wonder if Mitch also told them to make it a sacred calling to clean their toilets.
yeah.
No
As a church
doubt.
assignment. Yeah, can you believe people fall for? Oh, it's a church assignment. Well, you've got to carry it out. There's people who testify that it's a true assignment.
Well, Carrie, I just saw a job posting here in Salt Lake where you can go and clean the church office buildings toilets. So
Yes.
they do pay $18 an hour to go and clean their
Holy
sacred
shit!
toilets.
No pun intended.
There. Holy shit, no pun intended for sure. But the kicker is you have to have a temple recommend. So to touch the holy anointed body toilet seat,
Oh
you
my!
have to be
God.
temple worthy. Yes.
Oh my!
That's right. You have to be temple worthy.
Yes.
No
So you have to
kidding.
pay 10% for the privilege of then making $18 an hour to clean their toilets.
So you give them back $1.80 for every hour. You have to pay tithing, and you have to get it. Careful, Dewey! Don't do that.
That your
My cat's trying to knock over my tripod.
Oh.
One of the cats. Yeah. So you pay them tithing. They pay you. You pay tithing. You're really making $16 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to pay taxes.
Got to take out taxes.
And I'll
You
bet
don't
there's
get to be tax exempt working for the church.
and there's
You don't
no
get to be a tax exempt status employee. No.
no investment plan, no health insurance, probably.
Carrie, it says in the benefits you get to be filled with the Spirit of the Lord when you clean the toilet, and be with people who also are filled with the Spirit of the Lord cleaning toilets.
It really does say that.
It does.
Yes, she sent me the thing.
I sent Tim the job description.
Yes, it says say that.
Before you
email.
clean the toilet, you will start with the prayer, and you'll be ready for the day. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's incredible. I can feel the burning in my bosom now. I've got.
Well, the thing is, you don't even have to be temple worthy to clean the chapel. You just have to show up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Speaking of being temple worthy, I read an article recently about the church's policy for if someone has a medical problem in the temple, do you drag them outside for the paramedics, or do you let the paramedics come in? And they in fact let paramedics come in. Now they do, but in the past there was a real hesitancy to, we don't want to call non-members to come into the temple. Maybe just give him some water, let him lie down, he'll be fine. He's having a heart attack.
What happened to put your hands on his head and heal him already?
Well, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
Get the consecrated oil.
Are these guys that short-sighted? That's astounding.
They have the power of the priesthood to do it, Don't you know?
Well, that's how I was raised. Now, and that might have changed. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been to church, but sincerely, they always taught us, you've got the priesthood. You can put your hands on people's head. I mean, before I became an elder, they made not a big deal, but they gave us a small lecture, me and my buddies that we all grew through Scouts and Mutual through and all that jazz. And they said, now, when you become elders, understand this responsibility has grown And so now it's time to put away, so to speak, the skateboards and basketballs, and we need you to, be a little more serious with the scriptures, and if and when you need to call upon the power of your heavenly Father, you now have the authority to put your hands on their head and pronounce a blessing on them and heal them. I remember being told that, and it just, I said, huh? And they said, well, when you're worthy, you can actually, one of the gifts of the Spirit's healing people. But
Right, you command them to be healed.
do they
Command you to be healed.
talk about that these days at all? Does anybody mention healing
They have to.
in the
The
church?
little consecrated oil that you carry on your keychain,
Yeah.
that merch has made the church so much money. But also, why did they carry that like a rabbit's foot? Is because you would have that consecrated oil. If ever in an emergency or an accident, you could immediately lay on hands.
Interesting.
That was the golden ticket, right?
Actually, that's right.
I made a TikTok video about DNC 84 where it promises that with apostolic keys and priesthood power that they would unstop the ears of the deaf and bring sight to the blind. And let's count, shall we? How many deaf people have received hearing since 1820? Oh, zero. That's my math. And I thought, we have
By the priesthood.
we have 1,000 times more members today than we had when that revelation came out, and yet the fruit's just not there. And
But there's cochlear implants now.
An interesting angle on that. Yeah, the population.
I'm glad they have a lot of resources for those with special needs in the church, but I thought priesthood power was supposed to be the resource,
That's right. Maven's saying, remember the documentary about Mark Hoffman where the guy was interviewed and said, he was there sitting there with bleeding and we anointed him with oil to help him stay alive. And so, so Mark Hoffman he was righteous enough. His faith was sufficient to be healed.
Well,
I have a non-Mormon announcement. Former President Donald Trump will join Joe Rogan on his podcast for an in-person taping in Austin, Texas on Friday.
I heard that. Yeah. Donald Trump attended a Mormon fireside or something like that last week. He was involved in something with Mormons, and he told them that the Constitution now hangs by a thread, so he needs their help to get him back in office.
He knew their trigger words. Yeah.
Mormons work for the FBI, right? The Secret Service, right? And so when Trump got shot and had his ear nicked, they probably blessed him right then and there when they were all covering him.
Oh,
Really quick. Just a quick one. And it worked. He was healed after, he got medical attention and a bandage.
we don't talk about that in public. It's too sacred.
It was not a bandage.
Hey, Diamond Dave!
Diamond Dave.
I was just
digging the chat.
Speak.
There's an echo. Yeah. I was gonna say I was joking around with Rebecca Biblioteca on how I would never go on Gene Judson's show, and I saw that link staring me at the face, and I'm like, screw it, here I am now. So
there you go.
Not on everybody.
Love it, Diamond Dave. Good to see you, brother.
Welcome.
Sabbath morning.
It's actually, I'm thinking of going back to church because it's a miracle that Diamond Dave came on one of the.
Oh no, Dave. We all blame you. Just kidding.
No, it's just ironic.
But that confirms what I think Rebecca's been telling about me to everybody.
What's she been saying?
Nothing.
I'm just teasing.
Oh yeah, I just asked her because Gene reached out to me on my Facebook and he's like, "Hey, I honor creators and I was wondering if you want to come on my show sometime." And I kind of poked around because I only saw one or two of your videos, and I'm like, "Oh, you promote small creators." I have 115,000 plus on Facebook, and it's still growing.
That's right.
So yeah, so I'm like, are you sure you're at the right place? But
But
It is
part
what
of
it
it is the creator's journey helps inspire other people.
yeah, and I mean, I kind of figured that out. That makes sense. But I was just like, you seem like a cool dude, but I don't want to take
Yeah.
away from the small content creators because I've been on that
That's
content
true.
creation side for
Well,
about
you're
6
not. You're
years
not.
now.
We'll stay peanuts for decades. You're good.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I didn't want to take away from small content creators because, you know, I know how hard it is. I've been doing it for 6 years plus a full-time job. So, like, I get it.
Kerry has 30,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel.
I'm trying to
Problem
move
is-
everyone from Facebook over to my YouTube. And since almost all my following's outside of the United States, it's really hard to do.
That's
Ooh,
right. But Kerry's fans love when he plays checkers, is what I understand.
Nice.
The problem is when I'm teaching chess, I am playing checkers. That's the problem.
Oh, Hellfire Agency. I'm reading the chat right now. That's funny. Since
Yeah,
we
he
were
did.
hate watching, not okay. Hate. I don't hate watch. I'm one of those people where if you're kind to me and you're cool with me, I'll kick it with you. So I've got friends all across the board. I've got friends
That's the
from
best
Ward
way.
Radio. I've got, friends here. I've got friends that are Hindu nationalists. I've got friends that are Muslim. I have transgender people that follow my page. As long as you're cool with me and don't cause a problem, I really don't give a shit.
Diamond Dave has a big tent.
There you
Yeah.
go. We all need a big tent.
Huge tent.
I'm like, well, you know what they say with about men with big tents,
No, what?
big circuses,
Hey, that's not
lots
bad.
of peanuts. I don't know.
Or else a lot
Leave
of
it to
flour.
Debbie. Leave it to Debbie in the peanut gallery.
The peanut. Yeah. There's an element.
Lucifer. You were making peace. You were making mischief. Hey, sometimes you got to make mischief. What do you think I do on Facebook?
Yeah, right. I
Have
mean, what's
fun.
mischief? I do it on YouTube. You can do it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a coffee clutch.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, I love
Coffee
it.
clutch.
We're just hanging out. We already had dinner mostly, and
We did.
we're neighbors.
Good.
It was a warm day. This is like Porch Time has their motif of just hanging out on the porch in the neighborhood and talking, and this is like around the Mormon coffee table.
Well,
What?
when I saw the announcement that you guys were live, I just dropped what I was doing, jumped over, and then I saw you four, and I go, yeah, baby. And then I saw your text to me, Gene, and I was in the process of making my video tonight when you texted me, so I didn't hear it. So
That's right. Well, my goal is to take advantage of Tim while
now,
while Tim is still breathing.
Right.
We want to get as much out of Tim.
I've got a question for Tim.
Yeah.
Tim, my name's Rob. I've not met you, but I was just looking at your Facebook profile, and you make some amazing AI art. What do you think will be the impact of AI on the LDS faith? The art and just the information, everything.
I don't make AI art.
Yeah, who are you looking at?
I'm the guy that makes AI art. I'm the guy that makes AI art.
Diamond
Yeah,
Dave
Diamond.
does the
Diamond
really
Dave.
cool.
So that's actually something I do know about. I'm not completely familiar with the doctrine, but I do know a lot about AI. And already I can see them making a huge move towards it. Simply because it's quick, it's easy to do. It would not surprise me if they alter their PR team, because if you can do AI art, why do you need 30 plus interns working for you? At least that's
And
my
it's
approach.
non-copyrightable too.
Yeah, so
Trouble
that's
with it.
yep. So you can basically do that. You can also rip AI art from people, throw it in the AI machine, and have it readjust it, completely legal. You can make AI art of people, completely legal, at least at this time.
No
And-
porn shoulders though.
Yeah, well, that's gonna get a little interesting because you're kind of at the whims of the AI, and sometimes it just goes
No,
off,
no
off the rails.
tattoos.
So, but yeah, so there's that, and then I don't know too much about like whether or not they're going to actually use ChatGPT. I have heard, just hanging out with like my roommate at his YSA ward, and then at my old ward, there's kind of been some murmurs of, if you do a talk, actually write it, don't have AI write it. So I don't know if that's like universal. That's just anecdotal.
50 years. Oh,
Yeah. So
it's all been artificial intelligence at conference.
See, here's the thing. I actually was one of the people that pointed it out, and it wasn't because of the face. So what was interesting to me, if you watch President Nelson talk, you see the skin and the neckline, like down here, it does not move naturally in accordance with the shirt or the bone structure of the face. It moves on its own.
Eyes too tight.
Yeah, well, and I mean, even then, like, you'd be able to tell. And so for me, I'm like, hold on a second, because everyone's like, oh, his forehead is, too flat and everything looks too nice. And I'm like, no, that could just be easily makeup. But I saw the neckline move, and I'm like, that looks like Sora to me. There's an AI movie thing, and I don't know how wide available it is, called Sora, and you can kind of find some YouTube videos on it. It's flawless. It's amazing. You can still kind of tell if you know what to look for.
No,
I'm not sure, though. It was just something that kind of, I just noticed as unusual.
Thank you. Another thing about AI that in the ex-Mormon space, when somebody creates an image which kind of gives us a glimpse of church history like we've never seen it before, when you see Joseph Smith sitting next to a 14-year-old girl, or, you see Jesus speaking to priesthood holders dressed in temple clothing,
yeah,
it looks ridiculous. And I think that's powerful. I mean, those images are powerful.
I think we need to do one of Jesus in a missionary haircut and the general authorities with long hair and ponytails and beards.
They do have that where they all look like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. Wilford Woodruff reminds me of Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, I think it may also level the playing field, because I'm new to like the XMO space, and like I've said on other XMO channels, I don't have a stake in the fight. I legit don't care. I'm inactive. People have their faith. People have their spiritual experiences. It's not my place to tell them they're lying. People have left the church, and people have their reasons why. Not my place to disagree with them. People are going to do what they're going to do. So, but I do think, just from an outsider perspective, AI may level the playing field, because you have the just the church's ability, and really not just the church, but you have corporations, you have banks, you have PR teams that spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on digital marketing, right? And they pay good money for people with degrees to do this. Now, someone like me can just show up and be on par with them. So it may level the playing field in terms of marketing strategy. Like, you look at my YouTube, all of it's AI. It's like I literally I do like some of the fonts, and I throw everything in Canva, but it's all AI. Everything from the titles to the hashtags, everything's just AI generated. And within under 2 months, I got monetized. Went from 199 followers to now I'm at like 1,382. 1383. I just gained one. So whoever you are, if you're in this chat, thank you.
1,000, don't they?
I'm sorry?
Don't they monetize you when you cross the 1,000 barrier?
1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time.
Oh, okay.
Also, fun fact, it's buried in the terms of service, but if you want to have your YouTube monetized for ads, do not swear or have anything resembling violence within the first 7 minutes. Within the first 7 minutes, it's best to avoid that. After that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because they actually do watch that quite a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they watch it a little bit, but they don't have time.
And they want you to be real careful if you have kids in your videos.
Yeah.
And
I do gaming, so I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. And I do Mormonism, so I'm not going to worry about the kids either.
Yeah.
I like that phrase, leveling the playing field. I envision the day when a person such as one of us could write a script and produce an AI video that would rival in quality the videos that the church makes, but that would actually tell the factual history of polygamy and all the stuff we've never been able to hear or see.
I want to push back on that just a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, the quality of the church videos, I'm big into like fashion, AI, jewelry design, celebrities. Me and my roommate have talked about this. The quality of the church videos, in my opinion, sucks. Like it is not like I've watched B-rated Hollywood movies and I'm like, okay, this is watchable. I'll never watch it again. And then when I first moved to Utah, a bunch of my friends at my old place, they dragged me to their house. It's like, hey, we're going to watch a church approved video. And I'm like, what is it? Johnny Lingo. And I'm like, what the hell is this crap? And they're like, isn't it great? And I'm like, dude, it's like some dude in the 70s trading cows for a wife. Like, excuse me, what? Like, this is terrible quality. Like, I thought The Chosen was good. Like, The Chosen was good. If you could get it on, like, if the church could do Chosen, amazing, hands down, no issues with The Chosen. But like a lot of the other videos that they come out with, I'm just like, there are better Hollywood movies out there that have been rejected. You know,
just like when TBM say what a masterpiece of writing the Book of Mormon is, and most everybody else says, well, you know,
they have a captive audience. So you got to remember that they have a captive.
Well, they have a captive audience, and I will say this: it's like if they wanted to, they could. Now, I understand from kind of the opposite side of the coin, the church's role is not to make Hollywood movies. However, in my personal opinion, if you want to reach the masses, especially internationally, pulling in a few Hollywood actors won't actually hurt that venture if you want to reach people with media.
Jimmy Stewart was big.
There are Jimmy Stewart's in a Mormon film, and so is the guy that played Honeycutt BJ on MASH.
Wow.
Mike Farrell's in a Mormon movie.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't that the rumor with Tim Ballard using his affiliation with Elder Ballard? Was that him sponsoring OUR and that movie Sound of Freedom was to kind of promote missionary work or to put the church into that kind of savior, caring for children and a cause momentum? But it's kind of blown up because look at Tim. I mean, even though you have Mel Gibson backing that movie, you know, Jesus, Jim Caviezel playing the lead. That was a star-studded cast that got a lot of Hollywood backing, made a lot of movie for such a like basic independent, smaller studio movie. But
yes,
yeah,
Tim's kind of
I haven't
put a bad
seen it
taste
personally.
in it, darn it.
Well, I have a lot to say about Tim Ballard. So,
you mean
So do I.
that'd be another show?
well, here's something I will say this, just like since Debbie brought it up. There's something that Nuance Ho, like when she went through the entire like legal documents of the allegations, right? There's something I find odd that no one is talking about. And that is part of the allegations was that Tim Ballard allegedly was using Hindu theology when it comes to some of these acts. So references to the shivling as well as various postures and poses and things like that. And that's something that originally I didn't know which side to lean on. But then it occurred to me, I'm like, wait a minute, this is very in-depth Hindu scripture and theology that your average, Mormon American would not know. Right. Yeah. So either one of two things is true in the case of this situation. Either they're lying, in which case, how do they know this information? Which, in my opinion, is very unlikely. Or B, they're telling the truth and Tim Ballard allegedly did these things. In which case, how did he get this information, and why did he use this specific theology? Why not use more, like Mormon theology? Why not use biblical theology? Why this?
Well, I
That's
know he
what
was
I don't
using
get.
also that psychic, Janet Rusin, who was, basically reading the tea leaves for even President Ballard. He was conversing with her. Tim was conversing with her. All the higher ups through the OUR organization were using this psychic, which was super fascinating. A, because it was a woman, and then B, because they usually shoo anything like tarot reading or astrology or crystals. They're
But
very much anti-New Age.
but Debbie, that's in the days of McConkie, and that's all past us now. Right. We're going back to our roots of folk magic.
Yeah, that part I don't know about. I was just listening to the whole thing because I like to listen to both sides and kind of come to my own conclusion. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did this Hindu theology get in here? And then I'm like, wait a minute, why is nobody talking about this? Because
Maybe
if
you
he's
just
doing
like
it in these
tantric
countries,
sex.
well, sure, but even then, that doesn't really. I come from a Hindu background, so even for me, that doesn't fully explain it. And that kind of makes me wonder. It's like OUR has, been involved in like South America, right? So with that coming out, I'm like, do they have operations in India? Because if so, that's highly illegal. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but that's just me kind of wondering how this random thing got in here, because the psychics didn't really bother me throughout police history in America as well as Europe and even in other countries. Soothsayers and psychics have historically been used at one point or another. So for me, that's more okay. I don't have an opinion on that one way or another, but that's par for the course. That's not new. This is new. And everyone kind of glossed over it.
Good point. Because I would even say I agree with you, and you're right. There is more to that slipping in there because it is not something you would see in mainstream at all within anything resembling Mormonism.
My theory is that Tim Ballard is none other than Joseph Smith reincarnated. He's using the same playbook, and he likes reaching into other cultures, grabbing things and saying, look, this is a revelation from God.
Interesting.
In fact, I made a silly TikTok video where I described how Eliza R. Snow believed in reincarnation and said that she got the doctrine from Joseph Smith. And then at the halfway through my video, Tim Ballard slides into the frame, and I look and I say, Joseph, is that you?
You are having way too much fun with this.
I am.
Oh, no. Well, I like the theory, Dave. That was a nice add-in to this conversation for sure.
Hey, Diamond Dave, one more AI question for you. Do you see a danger where the AI can get so good that a video could be thrown out, the president of the United States saying something radical, and people reacting to it before fact-checking it and creating a little bit of chaos in society?
I think
Didn't
that's
Russia do that
already
same
happened,
thing?
actually. I think that's happened on a couple occasions. I don't know if it was with President Biden or with former President Trump specifically, but there have been instances of that. And working in the field that I do when it comes to like fraud in the field of banking and finance, we're getting a lot of like people sending money because so-and-so allegedly has videos of them doing inappropriate things with minors, and if they don't pay, it's going to get released. So I think we're pretty much have been at that point for a while, and I would argue it's not new. It's not new because with AI, everyone's concerned about the videos coming out and what people can say or do or be portrayed. But Photoshop, celebrity nude deepfakes, those are a thing. NFTs and cryptocurrency, non-fungible tokens, basically digital AI, digital art that has monetary value. There are trading card games of, celebrities you can buy right now, and that's been a thing since 2015. So I don't think it's new. It just changed the nature of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, added to it to be more clear. It added to it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a Mormon prophet prophesying soon after all then. It'll just be AI.
I mean, I think there's been a couple like AI videos done of like LDS leaders. I don't know. I think they're just TikToks.
But it was funny. Yeah.
I don't think they were like, they're just TikToks.
Yet, but close. Yeah, I've seen one of Russell M. Nelson.
Yeah.
I want to see hologram Jesus just coming down from the sky, like, woo, he's here, and we're like falling for it because it's really AI Jesus.
I'm gonna see that and raise you. Again, not trying to be blasphemous, but if I can get my hands on Sora, which is extremely expensive, the first thing I'm doing, Uchtdorf is going to be flying an F-16 singing Danger Zone. Everyone talks about it. Everyone memes about it.
And have Kenny Loggins' music song. Right into the danger zone.
Exactly.
Going Top Gun. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Not an F-16. An ME-109 or an FW-190.
There you go.
Come on.
Old
He's
school.
German.
Old school.
Fair. I mean, fair.
Right. Tim Rathbone for the win.
All right.
Or an F-104G. But
that's the reason why I suggested
was 104 of them.
Yeah, the only reason why I suggested the F-16 was just because it would match the music and be more relatable.
I understand. But he's a Deutscher. And with that Deutscher.
Yeah.
Sie machen ein deutsches
culture, Dave.
You're thinking about the culture. I'm thinking about the SEO and the metadata and the programming.
What's this AI program you're saying is so expensive?
Let me look at it up again. Let me see if I can throw a link. It's called Sora. I don't know.
SORA?
SORA. Okay, well, it's OpenAI now.
Sora app.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one, but this one is Sora. I will throw it in the thing. F-14. Thank you, Hellfire. Thank you.
F-14.
See, you guys know more about planes than I do. I'm just here to clickbait and get people.
I don't know anything about planes other than the miracle that Russell M. Nelson told about his plane. Tomcat forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is Sora. SORA.
Yeah. So that's one of them.
The
Yep. So there's Sora, and then there's other ones that cost several $1,000s, and I don't know the names of them off the top of my head.
Holy cow!
So here's the thing.
Cultural Hall just clicking away right now, already like thinking of a theme song with Uchtdorf.
Yeah. Well. So one of the things too one of the reasons that I know this is because like I want to get into jewelry design, and I was looking at the jewelry design like apps and like the software to do it, and like an actual professional grade is anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000. That's not including like the diamond cutters itself. If I wanted to get that. Those are like a good one. A professional grade diamond cutter costs about 20,000. To go to school to become a jeweler is 12,000 to get the certs.
What do you think of the AI art program that came with ChatGPT-4 in the grouping? It's called Dolly, DALL/E. Have you used that?
I have not. I usually just use LensGo AI, and I'm starting to toy around with Midjourney just because I'm kind of busy with everything. So I'm kind
of impressed with Dolly. I've had some pretty decent results with it. I need to play around with it more, but I'm finding AI art really does depend on your choice of wording. You
Very
can
much
really change it dramatically depending on what you choose. And when I was on Discord on Blue Willow before the bastard sold out, left me hanging, I was able to take thousands of pictures of others' AI where they had included their prompt. So I've got all these prompts and I'm using it with the Dolly, and I'm getting some decent results, but I can't make known people look like them yet.
Yeah, and that
I mean,
you'll
it's
see
free,
that.
so, you know.
You'll see that with like Dolly and Midjourney. LensGo AI does a passable job at celebrities. I don't know why they haven't updated their thing to
I
not
know.
do celebrities, but
Well,
I
the
mean,
celebrities don't want them to. I
yeah,
mean, look at the trouble you could get them into once they go to video. Yeah, AI.
Everyone would be in a Puff Diddy video. Everyone, even if they didn't go to the party, they'd all be guilty.
Yeah. AI is a double-edged sword. That's a little bit spooky to me personally, but you know, that's my deep Mormon spirit-filled paranoia showing.
no, that's fair. Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I've been into like biohacking for like a while, and I'm one of those guys where like when I can make time, I want to get those like the digital currency RFID chips like you have in your debit card. I was going to get one implanted right here under the skin. There's another guy I saw from like 2018 or a while ago. He's got like an actual computer processor embedded in his wrist. And
So
then
you want to be a
there's
cyborg then?
no, not a cyborg, but just
That'll
to have
make you a cyborg.
a bit more convenient, a little bit more convenience, just because the way currency is going with bricks.
It's not like we're already
currency.
inconvenient. We are the most convenient people on the planet, man. Holy cow. I'm getting ready to invent a brand new machine that I just put my feet down by it and it will pull my socks on for me.
I would respectfully disagree. Japan has us beat. Japan has Japan has a hotel run by AI and robots.
Yeah,
they also
you get the point. Yep.
And then they also came out with a really big clunky device that you put like these little electrodes on your head, and it records your dreams, and you can watch it like a movie.
No, they're that far, huh?
Could you imagine? Oh my gosh!
Wow. Yeah, they're way ahead. They've got like, I saw like memes and articles floating around on how they could download now like 9 terabytes in a second or something like that. Like their
that's because they don't have our senators in their government.
Gosh. Okay, Dave, you're young enough to probably know this movie. Remember The Cell? It was with Jennifer Lopez, and she goes into the mind of that serial killer who's been like abducting women, and she goes into his dreams, and literally his dreams are like a twisted version of hell.
Wow.
And it means kind of a Salvador Dali type dreams.
Huh.
It's crazy, but it was creepy. So if you need a Halloween movie this season, watch The Cell of technology where you can go inside someone's dreams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Well,
good news is, they found the girl. Okay.
Yeah.
All this technology sounds like it could have a huge impact on humanity. And thank goodness there's a prophet in the land who can get a revelation and see this kind of stuff coming.
We're safe. Everyone, we're safe. Nothing to see here.
We're
People
okay.
just keep on going.
We're okay. I get to eat my peanut butter sandwich tomorrow.
That's right.
We'll be fine. Humanity is a lot more durable, in my opinion, than I would say some people may think.
I hope so.
It's a lot more durable.
I've been studying this UFO phenomenon, and my faith in humanity waxes and wanes, and seeing the stupidity of some of our issues with disclosure is very disheartening. And yet at the same time, I recognize it's a double-edged sword. And so in a way, it's helpful, and it's hard to get that into people's minds.
So there's 2 points to that. One, because I watched part of your video on that. I don't think disclosure's that big of an issue, at least with people my age and younger, because it's going to be one of two things. Either, yeah, aliens exist, because there's so many planetoids and things out there. There's probably electromagnetic life forms like in Star Trek floating around Earth we can't detect right now. Fine, whatever. Or B, they just don't care. So, that's kind of my kind of perception from people my age and younger. But also, I mean, I wouldn't lose hope in humanity because I'm a sci-fi nerd. I love, Star Wars is fantasy, sci-fi fantasy, basically. But Star Trek, I mean, we are in 2024. According to Star Trek lore, we need to go through World War III. We need to go through the eugenics wars. And then we need to develop, space travel before the Warp 5 engine comes up if we're following the canon. That doesn't take place for like another 150 years.
I'm so relieved.
So, yeah.
I never read that.
I'll be long and gone. We're good. We're definitely good.
Yeah. And so it's like,
Yeah, Gene Roddenberry, the best Mormon prophet ever.
Yeah. And I mean, or it could be the flip side, and it could be like Fallout 4, and then the world's going to be annihilated.
Have you played that? That's a question I wanted to ask you. Have you played that video game?
I make videos on that, good sir. I've done everything. I'm going to do lore videos, but that's what
Fallout
I do.
4 is one of my all-time favorites, man.
Fallout 4. Tomorrow's October 23rd. Happy October 23rd for those of you who know.
Oh, look at that. There it is.
Ooh, look at that. That's awesome.
USS Enterprise. Now, there's a true trick. I think we just went full circle. If I didn't know better, I would say his hairs are getting pointy.
That's awesome.
And that's better than your head getting pointy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, October 23rd, Fallout 4. My favorite is going to be New Vegas, but I like all of them.
New Vegas, too. It had better Easter eggs.
Did you watch the series on Amazon?
I started watching some of it, and I don't know. Like, I'm going to have to sit down and make time for it because I threw on the first episode, and it was kind of all over the place. There were some, in my opinion, some potentially problematic things with the canon. But, okay, I haven't seen it, so they might have, we're on season 2 now. They may have answered that already. I know a lot of YouTubers were having kind of they weren't hating on it like Star Wars Acolyte, which don't get me started on that, but it was more of like, okay, well, this kind of breaks canon here. This bit doesn't make sense, but this is really cool, so I'm going to have to sit down and kind of watch it the way I did Star Trek Discovery, where when I first watch it, I'm like, this breaks canon in so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
But then I sat down and I binge watched it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to approach it like a fan fiction. And when I approached it from a fan fiction, I love it. I love it as a fan fiction. The Breen by far are my favorite race in Star Trek.
They stole the storyline from a comic book.
That I did not know.
Yeah,
which
they got
comic
sued
book?
over it. I don't remember which one it was, but they
hopefully
got
not Conan the Barbarian.
No, Fallout 4 did that with Grognak the Barbarian.
It did, didn't it? I love it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No.
You know what?
Yeah.
I went to play Fallout 4 again. It's been several years. I've got the Xbox One, and it started talking about doing an update, and that dumb box will not update, so I can no longer play Fallout 4. That sucks. Can you help me with something like that?
I'm on PC, and that, unfortunately, you could probably look it up online. I know the update.
If I have a PlayStation 3, can I still play my PlayStation 3 games without worrying about upgrades and updates and all that crap?
I haven't had a PlayStation in a while, so I'm a PC gamer.
Oh, you're a PC.
Did I say PlayStation? I'm sorry if I did. No, I'm a PC.
I probably heard PlayStation.
But yeah.
So you play right on your computer, huh? PC?
Yep. I got it on my computer, and the update was hell. I had to go and manually update 114 mods plus the launcher just to remember what all the mods were. And it was pretty bad. Actually, I've got a Fallout 4 background behind me. I don't know if you how
Yeah,
much
you
of it
do. I saw that Nuka-Cola. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the Nuka-Cola
That's why I
girl
was
with
going to
the
ask if
rocket.
you played the
Yep.
game. Yeah. Yeah, I've drank many of those in my gaming days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
I can't take that much time downloading that many downloads. I've got too much in the Book of Mormon I've got to read.
yeah, well, I originally just had a normal background from StreamYard's, a nice pretty white house, and I called into Bill Reel and RFM, and then a bunch of people because there was some drama with a particular podcaster recently, and Steve Pinecker. And everyone's like, oh, why are you in this dude's house? Do they live together? I'm like, no, this is, you know what? I'm just going to change the background. I'm changing the background. Not affiliated. It was just a StreamYard thing.
Good choice with the Nuka-Cola. Yeah.
Should we talk about that video?
What video?
Yes, let's talk about it.
Since we veered off of Mormonism.
Simon, what do you think about the kerfuffle?
Well, like I said, I mean, I wish them both well. Both
from
have
Mormon
been kind
News
to me.
Roundup? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish them both well. I don't know the context. For me, it was a bit odd. I was trying to be kind because I'm learning to be kind to people coming out of, the hardcore gaming side of things a few years ago. So it was like, maybe he got hacked. I don't know. Maybe it was an attempt at a content pivot. I don't know the backstory behind the two. I'll be honest, I don't want to know the backstory behind the two. From what I saw, he apologized on the community post, and at least from an outsider perspective, whatever.
Yeah, but
I don't have a stake in that fight. I wish them both well. I legit don't care.
Yeah. Well, I back Steve Pinecker. I'll say that publicly right now. That he is a good man. He's a bridge builder. Yeah, I get it. He sometimes defends Mormonism every now and then. Hell, I do that, but not very often anymore. But yeah, it's too bad that even happened. I don't know. Him and Steve apparently have back story going back quite a few years. So
yeah, and I mean, maybe it just came to a head. I don't know. That happens.
I think he was trying. I honestly think Mormon News Roundup did not. I will give him. I'll agree. I'll believe him when he said he did not realize that they were in a hurricane, but that means he's not paying much attention to his surroundings at all much. But
For a newsman,
he said his timing was bad, but he does have a sarcastic streak to him, but that was just way too much. That did not come out funny at all.
I'm not going to judge his intentions.
I'm not going to either.
I've seen a lot worse. I've seen a lot worse in the gaming sphere, especially in games like Call of Duty, Apex Legends. You get into those chat
that was
lobbies.
Bad against Steve Pinecker. If he'd have done it against me, it would have been much more truthful. But against Steve, no.
So. Yeah, so it's like, just again, I'm coming at it probably from a different angle than most people will see it, because most people and RFM was kind enough to explain, people have left the church, and this is kind of a space where, people just don't want that to happen. So I'm like, okay, that makes more sense as to why there's this reaction here. Whereas, like I said on the show too, I thought Steve did something because that was kind of a 0 to 100 from what I saw. And so I'm like, there's got to be a backstory, because people don't just go 0 to 100 unless there's something going on that exploded.
Steve just basically told me there is a backstory. I don't know what it is, but I think he did overdo it personally. What do you think, Tim?
I think it was uncalled. I think it was uncalled for. Excuse my tic tacs. I think it was disgusting.
Yeah, I'd second that.
There's no reason for it.
No, I agree.
mean, the one he did with Bill Reel and RFM was not good, and the other one he did.
Well, he's trying to be sarcastic, but he doesn't quite have the touch, I guess.
Right. I mean, definitely, when you say jokes, you risk being offensive. You risk all kinds of, you risk not being funny. Just ask the person in the bottom left-hand corner. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That'd be you.
Right.
Well, I think also every time everything can fall flat, because especially with something like Mormonism, where people do have such interesting triggers, it's one of those things you see when you come out of a high demand group that's demanded a lot of time, energy, and talents, especially for someone of Steve Pennegar's age and what he's sacrificed. I think there might be a little few more linchpin triggers on him that just don't fly. You know, like me with my father, he's 83, and we don't even have to talk about church, but I can say something that just doesn't land right, and I will still get a little bit of like, no, not in my house. Be quiet.
Yeah. I was wondering if there's a generational dynamic too, because
Yeah.
I've noticed that there's a lot of like, you know, people older than myself from a different generation. I'm a millennial, being 35. So, you know, there's a different type of humor, and there's a different type of what is and what is not acceptable. And I would argue that what he did was not acceptable. But like, I could kind of see the angle that he was going down, kind of, maybe.
I tried, but yeah.
Maybe. I don't know, but so it's like, you know, that also was part of my assumption on the
Well, I mean, attacking the guy's mom just is really stupid.
yeah. Oh yeah, that was yeah, because like I saw the attack on his mom, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, you play video games, I take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then, you know, and some of the people in the chat would know. I mean, if we're gaming and I'm streaming or you're streaming, we can insult each other, and that's fine. You go after one of our family members, boom, carte blanche. I can go after your mom, your kids. I can go after everyone because you escalated it to that point. Yeah, and so exactly, and it's like that's kind of that's going 0 to 100. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm staying out of it, but I'm watching it to see if it's an actual pattern or okay.
Well,
maybe
the cool
it's
thing is, I think they're both moving on. I think Steve hasn't seemed to have made any kind of a big deal about it, and it's awful big.
Well, then, yeah,
I wouldn't be able to be that tough about it if someone did that to me. Of course, then everybody does it to me a lot anyway. I just ignore it. But
and I know D-Vase is a weekend warrior. You know, what's it called? The government
National Guard.
National Guard.
Oh yeah.
So if he's out on a training thing, he's not really available to like do a show and do explanations. He's been posting things that have been, you know, that are, you know, like
okay, that makes so much more sense then.
Him.
I'm gonna say if he's National Guard, I'm anyone, and you might be able to understand this, Rob, as far as like veterans and anyone who's in the service, dark humor is their breakfast and lunch and dinner. Like there is something about military that just gets a little bit more twisted. We might talk about your mama. We might talk about what you do in the bathtub. Like there's sometimes a natural filter you lose, and you also lose what may be appropriate and funny to one group is not necessarily going to work or be appropriate with another group, so to speak.
Might be right.
Yeah. On my TikTok channel, I use a lot of humor, but because I feel like Mormonism has we've all been harmed by it in one degree or another, I play it safe by sticking with self-deprecating humor, just making myself look stupid for the cause.
That always works.
So it's a safer route.
Yeah.
Self-effacing, self-deprecating always works.
That's why I don't do politics or talk about my, you know, anything to do with politics or religion. I just kind of avoid it, and I let people do what they want to do. So
yeah.
So you guys, I hate to break off, but
yeah,
I've got to be at the airport at 3:30 tomorrow morning.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Nice to have you. Thanks for popping in.
I love all of you. It's been fun, Tim. You're awesome. Rock on. And good to meet you.
Great.
Carrie, I sent you a
Debbie,
link to
I
that.
love you like crazy. And Gene, I love you like I love y'all. So okay, I gotta go.
I sent you a link Carrie, I sent you the link to the letter in an email, so you can go
Okay,
read
thank
it.
you. Thank you. All right, you guys, have a good night.
All right, you too. You
Right.
too.
So Exmo Joe is wondering if anybody wants to talk about Brian Johnston and the Mormon transhumanists. And he
I
said,
haven't followed that much.
if you look at the personalities on the website of the Mormon Transhumanist Association, it's who's who of weird Mormons you have heard something about.
I have never even heard of that.
I'm not familiar with that. I know what a transhumanist is and like the general concept, but I didn't know there's like an LDS offshoot of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what shows they've been on. The Transhumanist. Like they could have been
would
on
we
John
say
DeLynne's
is the
show like
definition
3
of a
years ago.
transhumanist?
Basically, someone who wants to transform their body into technology, kind of,
Well, like
sort of, not really.
you
with
want to be a
both.
cyborg. You want to put that chip in
Yeah.
you.
Little bit,
Like the $6
little
million
bit.
man.
Yeah, well,
Right,
not
like
not
the
not that much. I don't have that kind of money. But
Or do they
yeah.
or do they want to put their consciousness into a machine?
Some do. I know a couple of my friends actually are
Now,
pretty stoked about that, and they want
and
to
the
get
cl-
like a USB drives in the back of their head. But
Well,
that's
see,
far off.
and when the batteries went out, is your consciousness then gone? When the power dies?
The big question. Or does it just transfer to another server?
Well, what if it all goes down? I mean, because the day that the sun expands and turns this into a cinder, everything's not gonna matter anymore.
Well, at that point, wouldn't the soul, because the soul would be data, right? Following the logic, the soul going into the computer would be turned into data. So wouldn't the data become corrupted over that period of time before the sun explodes? That would be my thinking, that the soul would
Probably.
it would just become corrupted and become fragmented, like how you clean up fragmented files on your computer, and then just dissipate would be my guess, but I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, so
It's
I
like
don't
a
either.
technical version of dementia.
Pretty
Here
much.
today, gone tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mormon Stories episode 1546, Carl Youngblood and Lincoln Cannon talked about transhumanism. Their website is called transfigurism.org. And it was interesting to me. I'd never really heard of this. And they kind of talked about like, well, we've gone through a faith transition, but we still believe in things like the resurrection, except that we think it's our job to make it happen using technology. And I thought, wow, this is, they really want to help humanity with science.
And in a way, that's sort of like the teaching where, you're the chosen generation. You're supposed to do all the things to help Jesus return, right? And if we're supposed to do all the things, maybe we're supposed to do the transhuman things. Maybe we're supposed to do.
You just got to drop the mythology. It's not real. It's never going to happen. It's all made up. I mean,
weren't you holding the USS Enterprise a few moments ago?
Busted.
I know that this is fantasy.
Nice one.
I know that this is fantasy. Okay,
That
Oh,
I can
reminds me.
separate.
What's that
I can
spoof
separate.
with Tool Time
fantasy.
Tim? I can
I
never
can
remember the name.
separate fantasy from reality. This is fantasy. You want to see what was reality? I will show you what was reality at one time.
Do you remember what that spoof is of Star Trek, like Comic-Con types of things with who's the guy that played Tool Time Tim?
Oh, Tim Allen.
Yeah, Tim Allen plays the captain of
There's
of the
reality.
spaceship.
This is a depiction of a real thing that existed at one time. And I know that this is reality or was reality. There's a difference. I mean,
That's
I
right.
enjoy a good story and a good movie. Okay,
Well, Tim, you also thought that UFOs yesterday were going to go on top of every city and say hi.
No, by April or May.
Oh, April. Okay. Every mark your
We're
calendars.
still waiting. Don't rush the bingo card, Gene.
I sent
Got
you a
aliens to
video.
look forward to.
I sent you a video of this huge, like the size of a Star Destroyer, and 4 UFOs following it.
Yeah,
I think I sent it to you today. That's real. That was taken only a couple of days ago.
it probably isn't real, but
Well,
they do some really good, cool. Yeah, Galaxy Quest is the movie.
I have seen a UFO. Okay. My
I-
father and I were flying, and we saw this thing appear and disappear. It flew across our flight path. It appeared, and then it went, and it disappeared. And my father and I witnessed it at the same time.
What year
So I
might
know
that have
they're
been
real.
about?
Pardon?
What year about? 1985,
Probably in the 70s.
70s.
What do you think, Diamond Dave? You're a young guy. Do you believe in the aliens or no aliens?
I mean, like I said earlier, duh. Like, although it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be anything like the movies at all. I think if there's obviously life somewhere. Now, I think if anything, it's going to be more animal type based. Like, I think it was either on Netflix or Amazon Prime. I forget what it's called, but it's like Alien Worlds or something like that, where it's, just got hypothetically, if there was a tropical planet, what life would evolve here. And it's basically like three-eyed lemur-like things, or like a desert with like a pentapod, which is basically like, if you think like of a big vase with 5 legs and a tongue that just eats. I think it would be more like that and less of like people like us walking around, in my opinion.
Let's say that Cliff High is right and that the Future Forecasting Group is right. And when they do the remote viewing and they see these creatures that are observing us, and they speak Etruscan and they live in the moon, and like they predicted back in July that there would be an uptick in UFO activity, and every day there's a YouTube channel that shows from all over the world all the news stories of UFOs, and it's increasing every single day. So something's going on with that.
And we would be the last to ever know. That's the glory of it.
No,
like
we've got a
anything.
prophet.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
that's right. We got, and hey, if anything, get to a rock, find a hat, and go for it. Go for
Right.
it, people.
The aliens know that we're in no hurry to see them, because they know that humanity has been waiting for Jesus for 2,000 years to come again. And we are a very patient people. We don't have to rush anything.
Yes.
I like that answer
say-
better than the one. I like that answer better than the one I was thinking of, which is kind of more scientific based. But I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but there's like an article I was reading, whereas the reason why we don't detect radio signals from other species is because of the concept of the light year. So if a planet is 1 million light years away, in theory, it would take 1 million years for us to receive it. And if we were to send it that distance, they would not get it.
What if there's a different mode of transportation and travel?
That is above my pay grade. That's why I read articles and I think I read articles and I let the scientists do that kind of thinking. That is beyond my pay grade.
Professor Simon has just released a video that they did pick up a signal from somewhere, and they're trying to analyze it. And this isn't the WOW signal. This is something else. And then there's the guide who is in Antarctica and says that they have laser beams that they shoot out messages, and that the United States has its own UFO force. A guy
Space
broke into
Force
the NASA.
has a potato cousin. What?
So this is sort of turned into coast to coast.
That's what I said on the Backyard Professor's show. It's like George Norrie.
I'm just saying.
Right?
If
like
these
George
guys
Well,
are
you know,
right,
we got to believe in a little bit of collab here just to give credit where credit's due.
I trust those
Hello.
guys more than I do anybody else right now because everything they're saying is coming true. You know,
I mean, I trust Fallout 4 right now more than anybody else because we are on that timeline, ladies and gentlemen. Everything, including COVID, was predicted back in
Star Trek?
1999.
It's like The Simpsons, the gaming world of Simpsons. Fallout 4 has predicted a lot of history for sure.
Yep. So I'm waiting
Yeah,
to
well-
become a toilet skeleton in 2077.
Okay.
I think Obama's group of people were predicting COVID, and then when the next generation came in, they nixed all the programs that would have helped us out.
They patented it in the 90s.
Oh, that explains the reference in Fallout 1 then.
Yeah. They
Oh.
patented it in the 90s.
So anyway, we've been talking now for over 2 hours. What do you think
Yeah.
we wrap it up?
We should wrap
Yes.
it up.
We'll try again
I
next
think this
Tuesday
point
and
we
see what
went 7
happens.
circles into the level of the level.
You know,
Sounds
if
good.
D-Bays comes on with a live next Tuesday, I don't know if we'll try to pick another
I
day.
will have respect for Dives when he and Steve are on a podcast together and they apologize.
There you go.
Kiss and make up.
And we can invite Steve and D-Bays on our show next
Sure,
Tuesday.
why not? Why not?
And see if they show up, and we'll, you know, all the voices will be heard is one thing that Steve likes to say. And I like to say, you know, like Steve says, that we're all human beings, or we all are image bearers. And, you know, everybody has their story. And I know that there's reasons people do things. I do lots of dumb things. Just ask my wife. And so.
We'll
I
end
like
on
them
that
both.
note.
I like
That
them
is
There's no
both.
beautiful.
argument from any
Yes.
of us.
It's like the
Yeah.
chef kiss.
Yes.
Yes,
No
we don't
argument
want-
for me.
We don't want this to be canceling Dives. You know
No.
better, you do better, right?
Right.
And so we expect, you know, better things from him if he is away with the Weekend
I
Warriors.
hope if anyone got anything out of this conversation, it was Fallout 4 is interesting. And so is that email hacking scam in Australia.
Australia.
And yeah,
Well,
be nice and love one another. Jesus said so. Hello.
And here's
be
one
nice
on the
to take a
last. We'll
pity.
end up with X Mojo saying, "We are sending radio signals every TV and radio broadcast. We've been doing it for 100 years." And so that means, I don't know how many stars are within 100 light years. But what's the closest?
E.T.
Alpha
from
Centauri.
home.
Tim knows. Tim sounds like he knows everything, apparently.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just following these people that I discovered. I think everybody should go watch at least one Cliff High video and decide for themselves and look at the future
Or follow
forecasting.
Backyard Professor's rabbit hole on alien life. He's been going down that as well. And he always makes it interesting, I will say.
Yes.
Puts
There are
his little
131
BYP spin on it.
131 stars that are within 20 light years.
Okay.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
it's been
Right.
real. It's
Thank
been
you.
fun.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Thanks for having
everybody.
me. It's been
Yeah.
great.
Thank
You
you.
guys are
Thank you.
awesome.
Very interesting.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
We'll try this
Good
again
night.
next week, and we'll see what happens, see how long it lasts. It could be the shortest running series
Sally,
in
stop that.
YouTube history. But
We'll
anyway,
do
right?
Tuesdays with Tim.
That's right.
Tuesdays with
Thanks,
Tim.
everyone, for coming. We'll sign
Yeah,
off now. If
you're
anybody
welcome.
wants to stay on and just chat without the show being on, we can.
I'll stay on. I'll stay on for a bit.
Yeah, so everybody like and subscribe and check out all the people that came, all their different shows that they've been on. Just look them up. You'll find something. All right.
You'll
Have a
find
great rest of the
something.
year.
Cheers. Good nobbing.
Okay.